Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's talk about villagers moving. Villagers in Animal Crossing can ask you to move naturally. First, let's talk about that method. They will have a thought bubble over their head if they're going to ask you to move, but this thought bubble can also be for other things, so be prepared. In order for a villager to ask you to move out naturally, you must meet the following conditions. You need to have at least 6 villagers living on your island. At least 15 days have passed since the last villager moved out, and at least 5 days have passed since the last time you denied someone a move out. But who can't ask to move? The most recent villager to move in, the last villager who asked to move out and was denied, any villager with a birthday in the next 7 days, meaning that it has been announced on the bulletin board, and a villager in the process of relocating their home, meaning you have their house kit in your pockets. In order for someone to ask you to move naturally, you're going to have to do some time traveling because this can be very long and exhaustive. You may want to travel at least 15 days to a month ahead, and if you find a villager with a thought bubble but it is not the one that you want to move, try again. Go to the next day. The bubble will move from villager to villager, and you will eventually, hopefully, find that the one that you would like to move out is thinking about it. Let's talk about the campsite method. If there's a camper in your tent that you want to move in, and your entire island is full, you can have them play a game of random number generator for them to choose who will move out. Random number generator is not actually a game, it's just how Animal Crossing determines who they will pick. Once you get to the point where the camper has talked to resident services, if they come up with the name of a villager that you do not want to move, you need to quit your game immediately without saving and reload it. You're going to have to go through the arduous task again of getting them to the point of wanting to move in and hope that you have them pick somebody that you would like to leave. Sometimes this can take as little as 10 minutes or as long as a day, depending on how invested you are. Unfortunately, much like the natural move-out method, this is going to require a lot of patience and time. But let's talk about amiibos, which is a really quick and easy way to get people to move. If you have an amiibo that you want to use and you would like to replace one of your villagers with that amiibo, you do need to invite the amiibo to your campsite on 3 separate days. This doesn't necessarily have to be 3 days in a row, but they will ask to move on that 3rd day that you scan them in. They will request that you craft an item for them every day that you scan them in and talk to them. You do need to craft that item and give it to them, and then they will tell you that they hope to be invited back again and think more on the possibility of moving in. Once you get to that 3rd day where the amiibo can ask to move in, that is when you can choose who they will kick. A list of all your current villagers will come up, and you have the power to control who leaves. This method takes much less longer, especially if you're time traveling. However, it does require that you have amiibos. However you get them is up to you. A few tips about moving villagers naturally. You must talk to them at least once after they move onto your island in order to form some sort of friendship. Yes, even villagers that you don't like. The higher friendship level you have, the less likely they are to ask to move. However, that doesn't mean that they won't not ask to move. I've had best friend villagers ask to leave and I've denied them, and then the bubble will just go to the next person the next time that we're at that point. If you have a villager move in that you don't like, for example, your first ever campsite villager, which is always going to be smug and maybe not somebody you want, you do have to interact with them a couple of times in order for them to eventually ask to move. They do need to know who you are. You can't just ignore them. Hitting them with nets, burying them in pitfalls, and otherwise bullying them is also not going to help. Giving them trash to decrease their friendship points will not do anything. This is a waste of time and it's a myth. Don't bully your villagers even though it might be enticing. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe you found it helpful. Maybe you're able to plan who your next move out will be. Let me know and please leave any comments, feedback, or suggestions down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!